What's up, Cowboys Nation? The Dallas Cowboys close Week 11 with a win over the Carolina Panthers, 33-10. They win on the road to move to 7-3. Let's talk about it.
Prescott, touchdown. Throw, look the middle, sacked again by Parsons again. CeeDee Lamb, was he down? They say no for now, and he's into the end zone.
Thank you so much for each and every one of you for jumping onto this video. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Cowboys content. We got a fun week. This is probably the busiest week as a Cowboys content creator coming up with the Washington Commanders on Thanksgiving. But the Cowboys take care of business today, and they go on the road where they were 2-3 before this game, and they beat the Panthers, and the Panthers were 1-8. Now they're 1-9, and they take care of business. Thank God, right? It was a little bit testy. And I told y'all, and shout out to each and every one of you for watching my pregame prediction video about this game. I said, don't underestimate the Carolina Panthers. They're zesty, they're feisty, they're physical. And we'll talk about that a little bit in detail because there are things to take away from this game. But the Panthers, they fought today. They put up a good fight in that first half, in the first three quarters. And then the Cowboys being the better team, they just ran away with this game. And mistake after mistake from Bryce Young and this Carolina Panthers team led to the final total that you saw right there, 33-10. But I like the Dallas Cowboys. I'll say this. I still got some problems, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here, but I still got some problems. But the one thing I like about this team is they're built like a boxer, really. They'll go toe-to-toe with any team, good or bad. They'll go toe-to-toe with any team, but because of the way their roster is built, because they're heavy at the defensive line position and they want to dominate at the line, it's like a boxer. You can go toe-to-toe for those first couple of rounds, those first couple of quarters in the sense of a football team, but because they are better in the long stretch, and because the Cowboys are built better in terms of their depth, and because they're heavy in that way at the line, they will go away with this game. They will run away with games, and that's what we saw right here. Panthers were trying to match up with our physicality, and I would make the argument that the Panthers were a little bit more physical at times, but the Cowboys just, they trust the process. They kept fighting. They kept sticking to what they were good at, and they came out and they did exactly that, and they ran away with this game. And let's talk about this defense, because I was a little bit critical. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were a little bit quiet the past couple of weeks, and I knew we were going to take care of the Panthers, and my original prediction was 27-17. I expected this team to struggle a little bit in the first half because it was on the road, but this defense showed up today. They played a really good game, only allowed 10 points. Again, it's the Carolina Panthers, but I really thought they were talented. If you look at that pregame prediction video I made, the talent that Panthers have, it's there. It's just hasn't clicked. And sometimes that's what it takes for a football team, is the talent is there, but sometimes the coaching isn't there. And Chuba Hubbard, 10 carries for 57 yards. Miles Sanders, 11 carries for 50 yards. Guys, they ran over 100 yards on us. Now, the Cowboys have yet to allow a single individual 100-yard rusher and or receiver against this defense, but this team, the Panthers, ran over the Cowboys. It's just their quarterback play was not there to complement it. And when it counted, Bryce Young couldn't step up and make the play. 16-29, 123 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 crucial interception that basically ended the game with DaRon Bland setting, I don't want to say set. He didn't set an NFL record. He tied an NFL record. DaRon Bland, the Dallas Cowboys, and the NFL. The NFL messed up when it allowed the Dallas Cowboys to draft DaRon Bland. And DaRon Bland ties that NFL record with 4 pick sixes in a season. He's been ridiculous. Oh my gosh. I mean, just getting better and better each week. And it's repeating what we saw with Trayvon Diggs 2 seasons ago, where it was like, is Diggs going to have another interception? And yeah, he would have another interception. And DaRon Bland is that same case where it's like, is he going to have an interception? Is he going to have another pick six? He's just been explosive, talented, and he's been incredible. And Adam Thielen had 8 receptions for 74 yards. That's not really a surprise. You knew they were going to throw the ball towards him, and he was going to have that high count there. But this defense, man, like I said, got the takeaway, right? That's important. Had 2 takeaways, had the interception and had the fumble. That is what I want to see, and that's what I talked about in my pregame prediction video. This defense has to get back to its identity, which was pressure, sacks, takeaways. They just need to be a menace on defense, and I felt like the past couple of weeks they weren't doing that. So this was a game that I knew they could do that, and they needed to pick up their confidence, and that's exactly what they did. Guys, there's no surprise here. The Cowboys beat the 1-8 Panthers, now the 1-9 Panthers. They were supposed to win this game, and there really wasn't a point where I was like, oh, could it be? It got close at that 17-10 mark, but it was kind of just a wait and see. It was just like, are the Cowboys going to go 3 and out here with their offense? Or are they going to go down the field and extend this game? And that's exactly what they did. They extended the game. But 7 sacks, oh my gosh, on the day. I mean, this was very similar to their performance against the New York Giants on the road to open up the season, where they had multiple sacks, that amount. And let's talk about Michael Parsons for a second, because I made a video about it. I talked about it in my pregame prediction video, where people, 105.3 The Fan, I won't hide it, they actually came out and said, is Michael Parsons slowing down? This man had 2.5 sacks. I think it may be 3 sacks, depends on how they account those things. So 2.5 sacks or 3 sacks. He looked incredible, and apparently he was vomiting on the sideline while doing it all. I don't think he's sick, and that's what the report said, was he's not sick. But Michael Parsons, man, 2.5 sacks just set the tone at the beginning of this game and picked up right where he left off the past couple of weeks. And he showed out again, saying, it's just ridiculous that people actually thought he was slowing down. I mean, that's what happens when the Cowboys are winning. Content creators and news stations don't really know what to do when the Cowboys are winning, because they don't have content to talk about. So they make up stuff like that. They make up stupid stuff like that to get conversation going. And sometimes we take the bait, which is just stupid, but man, media, you need to do better. Media, you need to be better. Just step up and be better, because that was such a ridiculous statement just to stir in such a slow week. But Michael Parsons, 2.5 sacks. J-Ron Curse had the half sack. DeMarcus Lawrence got in on the phone with the sack. And Sam Williams, they're playing him a lot more on the defensive line, and I really like the way that is going. That's been a great transition that the Cowboys have made going into the second half of the season. CeeDee Lamb, touchdown, 6 receptions, 38 yards. I hope he's okay. There was a little bit of a hit he took early in the game, and if you ask me, he looked a little, I don't know, he didn't look full CD. He didn't look full 88 towards that. So I'm just hoping that's not going to affect anything, because it's a short week. It's a short turnaround. We have a game on Thursday. The Cowboys play 2 games in 5 days, so hopefully that's not the case. But the running game got going. There's a little bit of spark. It's not as dominant as I want it to be, but Tony Pollard, 12 carries, 61 yards. Rico Dowdle, 8 carries, 23 yards. I had thought Rico Dowdle was going to get in the end zone on this one. Tony Pollard got in the end zone on this one, which I'm fine with. I'm glad. He needs it, man. And this might be that game that I always talk about in my pregame prediction videos, where this game might be the thing that sparks their confidence. Could this be a game that Tony Pollard capitalizes on and finally gets back in that 100-yard field, in that 100-yard game field, where he takes it and runs all over the Commanders on Thursday? Hopefully, because that's what I want to see. And then Dak Prescott, 25 of 38, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns. And I talked about it in my quick recap that I post on TikTok and Instagram and on YouTube Shorts. Sometimes a quarterback, it's not so much what you do, it's what you don't do. And one of the main responsibilities of a quarterback is not turn the ball over. Don't give the ball to the other team and give them any kind of advantage in that way. And that's exactly what Dak Prescott did. Now, I told you, this Panthers secondary was pretty talented. I thought they were pretty aggressive. They were solid, and they were probably one of the better secondaries that we would see this season. I know it's crazy, but I mean, it shows up on the stat sheet. We had a hard time throwing against them. 13 incompletions for Dak Prescott, which is a little bit higher than it was the past couple of weeks. And it was a little bit difficult at times to run the ball and to pass the ball and move the ball down the field against this Panthers defense. Now, there is a little bit of cause concern for that. I'll admit. Anytime the Cowboys run into any kind of physicality, they struggle a little bit, and we've seen it, and we saw with that offense, and that's why that running game is so important. That secondary was very reminiscent, and what they were running was very reminiscent of what the 49ers do. And the past couple of weeks, the Cowboys have not faced a physical nor talented secondary, and that's why Dak Prescott has been thrown on all of them. But, this was a little bit of a test in terms of physicality. And you could see that the Cowboys had a little bit of toughness adjusting to it. And that's the only concern that I have with this game is, yes, we got the win, but it was a little bit slow to get start. But, you know, you're not going to hear too many complaints from me. We got a road win. We're back at 3-3. We're 500 on the road. And that's the most important thing. Road games are hard to win. And when you come out winning 33-10, I mean, the stat sheet don't lie. The Cowboys dominated. They did what they were supposed to offensively. They got the running game involved. Dak Prescott didn't turn over the ball, and the defense dominated their matchups and got to the Panthers 7 times. Third down efficiency was 7-16. The Cowboys played a clean game in terms of penalties, only 4 penalties, and they controlled the time of possession. So this was a really good game, and this is exactly what I always talk about with the Cowboys getting confidence with their running game. Winning a game on the road, because they're going to look back at this game and say, look at what we did on the road against, granted it's against the Panthers, but look at what we can do on the road when we execute the game plan. And that's what they need. And now the fun begins, because we have 3 straight road games now. We got the Commanders on Thanksgiving, we got the Seahawks on Thursday Night Football, and then we got the Eagles. And as we all know, the Dallas Cowboys are undefeated and currently on the longest streak at home with a 12-game home winning streak. This is where it can get really fun, because the Cowboys are 7-3, and if we're playing to, you know, the Cowboys being good at home, potentially a 10-3 record is in the books here. And then we go on the road and we play the Bills and the Dolphins, and the Bills they don't have it all together right now, and the Dolphins don't really show up against good teams. So, and then the Lions, they almost just lost to the Bears, and they're kind of hit or miss sometimes. And then you end the season against the Commanders. So, and then you got the Eagles playing the Bills. You got them playing the Chiefs on Monday night. So things can get really interesting really fast. And what you saw today from the Cowboys is a good sign. There's a few things, yes, you can tweak here and there, but the Cowboys took care of business. And of course, I got to save a portion of this video. Be sure to like and subscribe. But I have to mention Jimmy Johnson going to the Ring of Honor. That should probably be the biggest news, in my opinion, coming out today, because I knew the Cowboys were going to win today. Everyone knew they were going to win. They were the heavy favorites in this one. I mean, Jerry Jones even knew. That's why he announced Jimmy Johnson going to the Ring of Honor before the game on the road. That's insane. But if you look at the report, the only reason why they did is because Jimmy Johnson works for Fox, and this was the last Cowboys game that was going to be on Fox. So there's the legal reasoning behind announcing Jimmy Johnson today. But December 30th, the game against the Lions at AT&T Stadium, Jimmy Johnson will finally be inducted into the Ring of Honor. Now, is there a curse? You know, you could be superstitious. I don't know what you are, but yes, I think there is a little bit of, you know, there's a little bit to say about the Cowboys being slightly cursed when it comes to Jerry Jones not allowing Jimmy Johnson into the Ring of Honor. And at this point of the season, I just broke it down for you. If you look at the rest of the schedule, it's favorable to the Cowboys. And to know that and to have something like this happen where Jimmy Johnson is finally in the Ring of Honor, I kid you not. I don't know if I was convinced we were never going to see it. And you know, it's been 27 years, and 27 years, way too long. I mean, it should have been done immediately or as soon as possible. This man, Jimmy Johnson, made, as much as Jerry Jones doesn't want to hear this, but it was both of them. It was both of them that got the Cowboys to where they are today in terms of their franchise success. 2-time Super Bowl champion Jimmy Johnson helped build that team, brought it together, and it was because of him that they won not just 2, but 3 Super Bowls. And yes, I know Barry Switzer coached the 95 team, but you should know he won it with Jimmy Johnson's team and his players. So, all the Super Bowls that Jerry Jones has won, and it's 3 of them, it is because of Jimmy Johnson. Both of them can credit each other for that success, and it is going to be a special, incredible day to see his name finally up in that Ring of Honor. I'm speechless, really. I never thought it would happen, and I'm just so glad the day has come. That should be the highlight of today, is Jimmy Johnson going to the Ring of Honor. That's all I got to say. Comment down below what you thought about this game. Cowboys blow out the Panthers on the road, 33-10. They're 7-3. They play the Commanders on Thanksgiving, and I will be here all this week. So a lot of content going to be coming out tomorrow and the next few days just because of the short turnaround. But be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later this week. Go Cowboys.
Prescott.